Land that's centrally located, and the Berryessa Flea Market is relatively centrally located, the pressure on that is just huge. And given the economics of land use and housing in this valley, development seems to be inevitable. But also given our disregard for the importance of social and community institutions. So we don't place a value on that. The value is on the land. But what is the value of those entry-level jobs, the startup businesses, the low-cost shopping for people who can't afford more, and the social structure, social contributions of the flea market? We don't put a value on that in this society. The flea market can only be saved, I think, with very energetic expression of concern by the participants at the flea market, buyers and sellers, and the community that values it. And then with some leadership, and there has to be political leadership to help find an alternative site. And the Bum family or some other investor is going to have to be willing to carry a substantial amount of the investment load to make it happen.
Everybody come together. Okay, we're going to give you some flyers that say save the flea market, relocation, relocate, don't terminate. So you can use those and show it to City Council. We're not trying to stop the project. You know, we're not trying to stop the development. We just want City Council to help us with the new location, right?
So now let's look at our general plan and see how we have been planning for transit-oriented development. Back in 2002, the City Council did redesignate the entire flea market site for a combination of high-density mixed-use development, which is what the brown color represents. It's our transit corridor designation. And then, of course, there's the issue of the closure of the flea market, which we know is important to a lot of individuals. And for this, you know, I think we believe we need to address it in a compassionate way, certainly recognizing the investment that the vendors have made and their longstanding presence on the site. And again, the zoning does provide for the phasing, the retention of the flea market operation, so a smaller footprint could be afforded as the project moves forward.
We will have a plan in place to relocate the flea market, or we won't. And either way, we will notify the community in advance of that deadline.
We have a lot of people who want to speak. When I call your name, please come down so that you're close to the microphone. It's already 11:30, and we're not going to make it, before midnight.
Flea market is an American way of life that has caused the city to grow. It become economically profitable, provide the way of life and upward mobility to the new citizen.
But public markets are a vehicle for social integration. Markets create not only vibrant public spaces, but also community development, health and nutrition, and the preservation of family farms. Public markets also attract people. They generate street life and activity, as well as create retail space for culturally diverse food and other items, and obviously more ridership. Markets give prosperity to the economy.
My name is Emmy Mendoza, and I am an urban planner, and for me that means coming before you to speak on behalf of the flea market. This issue has politicized people who probably have never come to a council meeting and who are really excited and interested in this issue. And I want to just say, I want to take that energy and turn that into an opportunity to do some major problem solving. This is the Silicon Valley. This is a place where we are innovative, and I would just love to meet the challenge of solving this issue. It's a question of political will.
It may be the case as a council that we have to look at the question of whether or not this is worth a public subsidy, because the numbers don't pencil out in terms of how we find 80 acres that can support this business activity at the lease rates that we would expect to find. And this may be an issue we have to seriously consider if we really think relocation is going to be feasible.
And I guess I should ask you this, Shaynar, if you're willing to be part of a discussion at the Economic and Community Development Committee, which is chaired by Member Pyle, so that we can look at solutions and a thoughtful strategy on how we can relocate our small businesses that are at the flea market. So the nodding is a yes.
If you want to watch people stop bringing projects to San Jose, stop getting commercial development, stop getting industrial development, stop building the homes that we have our quotas or our responsibility or allocations, whatever you call them, from ABAG, let's just keep piling this stuff on. When is it going to stop? When are we going to be reasonable?
The last time that I checked, we were voted to be policymakers and not just to follow rules that are on a book. And
Okay, all in favor of the main motion? Aye. Opposed? One opposed, Councilmember Constant. So that passes on a 10-1 vote. I think that completes our work on this item. We have on the agenda the open forum. Can't believe anybody still wants to talk. I have no cards for the open forum, so we're going to...
You conveyed the most important message. The most important thing that you did was to realize how things changed in City Hall. 2 months ago when this was brought up, nobody talked about you. Nobody talked about the merchants. Nobody talked about the value of the flea market. Everybody on City Council knows about you now. Everybody on City Council, well, maybe except one, recognizes how important you are and that they want to do something. They still don't know what. So the good news is that you've got a commitment from at least the flea market being open for 2.5 years. So that's a big victory. Yes. The second important step came from Councilmember Nora Campos, when she had recommended that this go before an economic committee. And the economic committee is not going to look at the use of the land. They're going to look at you as businesses and what the city can do to help you. So your efforts here tonight made a big difference on the council members. And it made a big difference in terms of your own future. So for all of us, thank you very much.
Si se puede, si se pudo.
Although there's no relocation secure still today for the merchants, at least there is the beginning of a process and the beginning of some commitment on City Council's part to continue the dialogue and try to find some solutions. And so I think by coming here, probably over 300 people were here today, by coming here and expressing our views to City Council and making them see the importance of the flea market, I think we were able to really show them how important the flea market really is. And I feel really positive right now. I mean, we didn't get everything that we wanted, but being the way that the political situation is just in the city, I think that we made some really strong gains. So there's a little bit of hope, and we just gotta try to keep on fighting for the sake of the families that are at the flea market.